guys. Call the meeting to order. Thanks everyone for being here. Start out by any additions to the agenda that you have in front of you.
All under one, so I.
Okay, moving along. Approval of the previous meeting minutes. Okay, thank you. Second, thank you very much. Okay, POA board liaisons, Jerry, Sandy, Jeff, anything to say? Any comments? Okay. Tom?
Just to remind everybody that they have just under 2 weeks to vote for the board election. As of just a few minutes ago, we were at 21.9%. Looks like we may come in at 25, 26%, which is a little bit higher than the last vote. So that's good. Participation is good. Do your research, make an informed decision, but vote.
Okay. Rick, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay. I actually have quite a bit going on this month. The Lake Windsor drawdown is now in the rearview mirror. We return to full pool on April 29th. I think if it hadn't been so early in the year, you would have seen a lot of signs of the drought. We were in a pretty good drought until a couple weeks ago. With everything greening up and being relatively cool, we didn't see the effects of that. The good thing is Windsor was one of our it is our lake that responds to closing the valves quicker than any. So if it had been some of the other lakes, I mean, at this point we would have still be full, but it would have taken longer. We've been looking at potentially drawing down Lake Norwood this fall. The back of the lake is got quite a bit of gravel and silt in it, where we would like to be able to remove that, but we still have some questions to have answered before I can fully bring that recommendation to the committee. Let's see, our POA rangers made a little over 4,500 contacts in the month of April. That's up from 2,800 in March and 3,000 in April of 2023. So we're a good 1,500 above 2023. We have 3 rangers from last summer that have returned to us this year. And we have 2 rangers being prepared to start sometime later this month. So 5 additional rangers to beef up our staff this summer. In grounds maintenance, we now have 3 pavilion roofs at Tyree, London, and Ann Park. That's not exactly related to the lakes, but it's close. So I'll mention that. The Avalon heated dock is complete except for sealing the deck boards and doing a little bit of painting inside. We like to have those deck boards get just a little bit weathered so that they'll take on the sealant that we put down. So we'll do that in the next month or 2. We're also looking at adding a kayak rack, another one at London Landing. We are out of room to put a kayak rack right by the water, so it would have to be off the water a little bit. I've had a lady call and ask me about doing that. She would be prepared to pay for the materials and rent 2 of the spaces each year. So I'm looking at the feasibility of doing that. Under our Lakes Ecology and Fisheries Department, we have our aquaculture open house from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. this Saturday at the aquaculture ponds at Loman Park. The more I uncover, the more it's way more encompassing than just the aquaculture open house. We're having demonstrations about our fisheries management and our techniques that we use to catch fish and assess fish populations. That'll be there. We'll have demonstrations from our water quality lab, how we measure the water fertility in our lakes, that kind of thing. The rangers will be there to answer questions about POA policy and what you need to be able to fish or boat or enjoy the lakes. They'll be there doing that. The fire department will actually be there talking about the prescribed burn that we did on the Loman Dam. And to look at it today, you can't tell that it was even burned. The woods nearby that we also did a prescribed burn in, it's still visible there, but you really kind of have to look close. So they'll be speaking on that. There'll be a food truck and also an ice cream vendor there. And we also found out this week that there is also at the same time going to be music being played at the pavilion. So they're expecting about 150 people at the pavilion. We had 150 people last year for our event, so it'll people will have the opportunity to go back and forth and should enjoy the day. Now, parking could be an issue, but we are also going to have rangers on duty to direct parking into a grassy area, much like we do during the 4th of July. So that shouldn't be a big deal. The following Saturday will be our yearly Kids Fishing Derby, which will be held at the Metfield Clubhouse Pond, like it has been for the last half dozen years or so. That event is from 8 until noon. Children ages 3 to 15 are welcome. You do not have to be a POA member to be there. That is a requirement for the event because we're getting 300 catchable sized fish provided by Arkansas Game and Fish. They require us to have it open to the public in order to receive those fish, and that's one of the items that we bring before this committee every year to get approval. Chris Fuller has been very busy lately, he and Kayla both. They removed 30 tires from the Windsor Dam area that were actually too deep to retrieve when the lake was down. They went scuba diving for them and brought those to the surface, and we're getting those out of there. Chris is also speaking about a week and a half at the Fly Tires weekly meeting about some of the programs that we do in the Fisheries and Water Quality Department. Chris and Kayla have also presented at the end of the week. They will have presented to 3 different school group field trips out to Lake Windsor, giving demonstrations on lake ecology and nature in general. One thing to note, if you guys ever look at the website, we post our water quality analysis there, and we started at the 1st of April taking our weekly SECI readings. You'll notice the lakes have been very clear, but we've also had high water now for a while. So we do not fertilize when we have high water because our lakes will just get flushed out and it'll be a waste. So if we get into a dry period over the next few weeks, we will start to do some fertilization. However, all the runoff from lawns and that kind of thing is providing some fertilizer anyway. So we are seeing the lakes go more cloudy. And I'll be placing spawning structures in the aquaculture ponds for channel catfish either later today or tomorrow. So it's getting that time. And that's all I have.
Any initial findings on the shocking surveys, anything?
Chris has completed all that, but we don't have anything written up yet. We take otoliths, that's the structure that you can age fish. They haven't read those yet.
Okay.
So we won't know much until that's done, but later this summer.
Okay. John, I talked to Chris about the water quality samplings. So we're not getting, I didn't look at it this week, but through the first 3 weeks, nobody was doing Windsor, or Windsor was not being reported, and Loch Lomond, Tyree was not being reported.
We lost our person that does Tyree.
Right.
I know Chris has been periodically doing that. We thought we had someone to do that. Bill Ginger was going to, and for some reason he decided he couldn't. So we're still looking for
Okay.
someone there.
Okay.
If anyone knows anyone on the upper end of Loch Lomond or on Windsor, I wasn't aware that Windsor.
For
was
whatever
missing.
reason, I didn't look at the report this week, but through the first 3 weeks, Windsor was nobody was
Okay.
reporting on Lake Windsor.
Okay.
And it was super clear up until, even after the first couple of rains we got, it was super, super clear.
Okay. Well, we can use this forum to put the word out. If anyone wants to volunteer for that, to take that data, we'll set them up with the ability to do that.
Okay.
Hey team, this is Rob Montgomery on the phone. I've been driving over to do Avalon. I don't mind doing Windsor if needed.
Sorry, who was that?
Who's this? Who spoke?
Hey, this is Rob Montgomery.
Oh, okay.
I've been
Rob.
going over to Avalon. I met with Chris a couple weeks ago, so I'm happy to do Windsor if somebody's needed.
Okay, thanks, Rob. Again, I don't know who was doing Windsor, but, and maybe they were out of town or sick or something, but.
We'll get with you if it's going to be necessary. Is that something you want to do as a fill-in, or you want to do it for the whole year?
I think I'm doing it as a fill-in technically for Avalon for 2 or 3 months, but
Okay.
I'm fine doing both. No concern.
Okay.
Right. Thanks. Anything on aquatic vegetation growth, Arkansas Cube, any removal of grass carp, anything along those lines to report?
Just that we have been out a couple times looking for grass carp and have gotten some. We haven't done anything as far as constructing any artificial habitat over the last month. The Arkansas cubes are placing some sort of vegetation is something that I'm looking into, but I need some assurances that if we bring something in from somewhere else, can we be relatively assured that we're not bringing something in that we don't want? And I haven't gotten that assurance yet. So.
Okay.
I've got a couple of things.
Okay.
The access to London washed out again.
It's not terrible, but yes, it needs some attention.
Yeah, and the dock area down at London was just, I fished it yesterday and it's just,
Yeah. Time takes care of that one. That material will sink. We've had material in that cove all the way out to the mouth of the cove.
and yeah, if we could, and the third thing I had was if we could get a plan in place for the aquatic vegetation, along with perhaps some timelines.
Okay.
It'd be helpful for, keeping track of where we are, what we're doing. And again, I know you talked with Lance the other day on habitat structures, but we're available to, Fly Ties are available to help build those.
Okay.
That's it. Thank you.
Another comment I made to Rick recently is, with the abundance of grass carp, someone suggested to me, and Rick and I both thought it was a fairly decent idea, is to have some sort of a tournament that would target grass carp, either bow fishing or snagging or whatever. And he indicated that he would be open to doing such a thing, but would need, help from an organizational standpoint. Is that something the Fly Tires might be interested in doing?
There's a meeting tomorrow, I'll bring it up.
Okay, and then the other idea that I had was, since we're targeting trying to get rid of some of the smaller fish, so our lakes have an overabundance of small fish, is there some sort of a tournament that we could have that would allow people to keep, like, have a 10 fish tournament and the lowest weight wins or something? The smallest 10 fish you can bring to the dock, and then people could keep them and eat them or whatever. I mean, is that something that?
I've suggested that before, and so you pick a length that is the perfect size for removing, which may be 11 or 12 inches, somewhere around there, and you kind of you kind of handicap your score based on, if you decide the perfect length is 12 inches. And so so the perfect score would be 10 fish that are 12 inches long. And anything beyond, either above or below that, would not score as high. So there'd be a way to do that.
Yeah.
And to get back to the removal of the grass carp, we do allow bow fishing for grass carp. It's allowed by Arkansas Game and Fish. I'm not sure that I would want to sponsor a tournament with a bunch of guys out there shooting at them. You know, one bow fisherman here or there is not a big deal, but to have like 30 people out there doing that might be a problem. I would be more in favor of something that involves snagging.
Okay. So I don't know if the fly tires have, you know, any kind of resources that they could help us put something like that together, but I think on both fronts, the carp removal and then some sort of a, I mean, because unless we can target vegetation and things like that, but the bottom line is we have too many small fish and we've got too many grass carp. So
Yeah, we gotta get the grass
We
carp
gotta-
out. And
we need
I was on Windsor yesterday, and we probably caught 25 bass, but,
yeah, same here. I mean, just Loman, Windsor, and
I mean, we
I'm
kept,
catching dinks.
we kept 5 eaters, but that's not gonna put us in much.
So, any other comments on that, Rick, or anything that?
That's all I have.
Okay. Any questions for Rick? Additional questions, concerns? We talked about water shocking. We talked about Lake Windsor. We talked about Norwood. I don't have anything else on the agenda. Does anybody else have anything they want to talk about? Anybody in the audience, sir, do you need to say anything? Okay.
Can you hear me, Matt?
Go ahead, go ahead.
Just an update.
Sorry, I was gonna call on you. You totally slipped my mind. I'm seeing you there,
Oh, you're fine.
Trey. Go ahead.
Marina's up and running, but just an update on the Lake Ann up the spillway, where we had some issues over the last year. They completed the work on the trail. We wanted to move the trail away from where that sinkhole was. They've done that. They also put in some big, nice looking stone stairs to walk down to the bridge. Before we had some erosion, and it was a little bit, getting from your car to that bridge was a little difficult, but they put some big, nice stone stairs in there to help people get down there. Now, obviously today, not only was it nice to see the work done, but obviously today that spillway is running pretty good. So should be better for this season for people getting down to the water.
Okay, thanks, Trey. Ross, got anything to say? Rob, anything else from you?
I don't, sir. Thank you.
Okay,
I'm good, thanks.
all right. All right, one more time. Anybody else? Go ahead, Rick.
Matt, I don't know if you've done so lately, but could you send out a contact list for everyone on this committee?
Absolutely. I think I have that. I can do that. If not, I'll be making some phone calls, but I think I have everybody's phone number and email. So, yeah, I can do that. Okay, that being said, meeting adjourned. Thank you.